Period. You're going to get smacked up. I mean, he's lucky Andy Ruiz ain't no Mike Tyson type of fighter. You think he would say shit about Mike Tyson?
No. I don't think anybody fall.
First of all, Mike Tyson will be he'll fuck you till he loves you.
And he'll bite your ear off.
And he'll bite your ear off.
Jeez.
Now, Andy Ruiz is a bad man.
He is, and a very humble guy. You saw how at the end of the fight,
bro.
And to
what
prove
he said to his mom, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Mama would just change our lives.
Yeah, and to prove your point about humbleness, I mean, even Anthony Joshua, after he lost, I mean, he went up to him and gave him his props. Very respectful, I believe, just because he's an Englishman. He's like that naturally, just like Tyson is. He after fights, he's always respectful. I don't think an American boxer would have done that. I think they would have been mad as hell and walked out of the ring. But yeah, man.
I'm not gonna lie.
And honestly, this changed the future of heavyweight boxing because
bro, it's next year of heavyweight boxing for sure.
Next year, fights are going to be. I mean, everything's out the window now. As far as Wilder doesn't have to fight Joshua anymore. There is no point.
No.
And now he fight Andy Ruiz. That will happen.
And I'll be real with you. If I was Andy, I wouldn't take a fight unless it's the winner of those two. Straight up. Even though we both know that most likely the next fight's going to happen is going to be the rematch with Joshua because Eddie Hearn and his bitch ass won't let this go.
A good tune-up fight for one of those two guys will be Luis Ortiz. And Luis Ortiz has just as much of a chance as winning as Andy does.
Bro, if Luis, imagine, in this crazy world that we're living in 2019 where President Trump is still in office, Florida man stories up the ass everywhere, and Andy Ruiz is the world heavyweight box champion. Mm-hmm. Imagine if Ortiz were to dethrone one of the other two. What if Ortiz...
He would be the first Cuban heavyweight.
Ever.
And, man, that would be great.
And then Cuba versus Puerto Rico, or Cuba versus Mexico?
Huh?
Cuba versus Mexico?
Man, that's crazy.
That's a divided household in your house.
It is, bro.
But see, to me, right, as of right now, Fury Wilder needs to happen ASAP, which is probably going to happen early next year, according to the both camps.
Yeah.
Right? That needs to happen ASAP. Simple fact is, Andy Ruiz is likely going to tune up Joshua again. I really do think so. I think just the style of fighting.
He's going to fight Anthony Joshua again?
They're saying it.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you. Eddie Hearn put out a statement,
bro,
that the rematch will happen in England. And they're going to sell out Wembley Stadium.
That's not going to happen. I mean, it'll sell out, of course. I mean, he sells out regardless. But that's not going to happen, bro.
I mean...
That's not a good boxing business move.
But here's the thing. Ever since when has Eddie Hearn done anything smart since taking on Joshua as his
I don't know, bro.
Like, tell me. Why have you protected your fighter so damn long? Why?
He didn't want to bring him to the U.S. because he knows that's where it's at. That's where all the real boxers...
This is where you make the money. I'm sorry. Say what you want.
Yeah.
New York or Vegas. Everywhere else is chump change.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, as far as boxing goes.
Yeah. I mean, this is where it's at in the United States. And look, if Ortiz would have took the fight against Anthony Joshua...
It could have happened the same.
I believe so. That was my prediction. My prediction was that Luis would have won.
I think Luis would have made him look even worse.
He probably would have knocked him out cold.
Straight.
Yeah.
Straight.
I mean, the dude's just as big as he is. You know what I mean? And he's a nasty boxer for a heavyweight, bro.
Dude, to me, bro, look, man, much respect, Anthony Joshua, man. Nothing against you, homie. If you listen to this podcast, much respect, dude. You have done things in the sport of boxing that almost no one does. But in reality, your management, your team has hindered you from being in the true upper echelons of the division. You have been sold as the upper echelon of the division, but unfortunately, with all due respect, your team and your handlers have done you a disservice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, he's done a lot of... I mean, yeah. I don't know, bro. I get so upset just thinking about...
Dude, it's annoying.
The stupidities of everybody's... Oh, Anthony Joshua. I'm like, nah, bro. I've been on that guy. Bro, I told you, he hasn't fought anybody.
He hasn't fought anybody. I mean, the only name he's fought was an old Klitschko.
Exactly. And Old Klitschko. Still took him, 8-9 rounds? Come on, bro.
After getting knocked down. And you have a questionable chin.
Brazil took him 8 rounds. It took Wilder 1 round. Come on, bro.
Dude, here's the thing. If Andy Ruiz, right? Andy Ruiz landed beautifully on Joshua. Now, mind you, I think Andy Ruiz is a better boxer than Wilder.
Ruiz hurt Wilder, don't forget.
Yeah.
He hurt him.
Yeah. But Andy Ruiz hurt Joshua. If Wilder would have got his hands on Joshua would be retired now. Retired. And I'm sorry. Yeah, AJ's a better boxer compared to Wilder. Yes, he's built, he looks better, he's heavier. But difference is you can't teach that kind of power Wilder has.
They have a different mindset too. Wilder's out there.
Wilder's trying to kill people.
Yeah, he goes out there and
he's trying to
his
murder.
mindset is so different. Like he's not nice to people when they're in the ring. He's nice to them after, maybe.
To this day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, bro.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. We also have a couple other big fights coming up this weekend. Well, a couple other things to cover. So let's see. We got enough boxing talk before we let these next 45 minutes.
Just a quick one. Triple G's fighting this weekend against No Name.
I'm probably going to lose. Bro, it's already been a weekend of upsets, bro.
Nah, I think Triple G's going to win and, whatever. Anyways, Triple G's fighting. Whoop-de-doo. Triple G. Nobody cares about him anymore.
Freaking do.
But yeah, bro. Great week.
Yeah.
Boxing events that happened. I mean, like I said, it changed the heavyweight future forever.
So a couple of big things coming out of the MMA world. Anthony Lionheart Smith submitted top lightweight Alexander Gustafsson. Gustafsson's best known for going 2 fights with John Jones, 2 fights with DC, losing all 4, but definitely taking them both to the distance and stepping it up. He lost. I mean, not much you can say, right? But he lost and got submitted rear naked choke in the 4th. I'm sorry. But I think the biggest thing is what he said after the fight. He retired.
What?
Yeah, Gustafsson retired.
Really?
Yeah. After losing, they were doing an interview with him. An octagon interview.
Yeah.
And he took off his gloves and said, I do this sport to be the best. If I can't beat guys like Anthony Smith, I shouldn't be doing the sport. And he dropped the gloves in the middle of the ring and said he's done.
Wow.
I mean,
is that respectable or?
I don't know if it's respectable. I think depends. Here's the thing. Alexander Gustafsson is one of the most respected guys in the sport. He is a Swedish monster.
I mean, was that like shots at the guy? He was like,
I don't think it was shots. I think it was one. Alexander Gustafsson's up there in age. Okay. He's 34, and in MMA that's long in the tooth.
It's like basketball. You're 34. It's like
that was his. I think his last fight against John Jones. That was his 3rd shot at the title. So you don't get many chances after that, right? What do you do after 3 shots at the title? You come up 0-3.
Become a gatekeeper at that point. I mean,
you're a gatekeeper, right? And I don't think Alexander wants to be a gatekeeper. I think he wants to be
the best.
The best.
He wants to be
do I think he could be the best?
No.
Not in this era. I think he would have been the best in any other era. Straight up. That's how good he is. You got guys like, Daniel Cormier. You've seen Daniel Cormier fight.
DC
is a fucking best MMA fighter of all time. That's not named John Jones.
I mean, there's no reason to name John Jones. He's obviously the best.
John Jones, obviously. Do I think he should have retired? No, I think he should go up to heavyweight.
John Jones?
No.
Oh, I was
Gustafsson.
Like,
I think Gustafsson, he's tall. He's 6'7". I think he could throw on a couple pounds. He'd be have some interesting fights at heavyweight.
He's 6'7"?
No, I don't know his stats. Gustafsson.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, that guy is huge, bro. He should definitely go heavyweight if he's 6'7". I mean, what division is he fighting in now?
Light heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, he should at least give it a shot, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man.
At least one right before he's done. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. So, let me see here. Looks like
Alexander Gustafsson is, let's see, he's 6'5". It's a big dude.
Yeah,
Go up to heavyweight, throw on, don't have to cut weight, because, he walks around at like 240. Don't have to cut weight to 205. Maybe he moves better, feels better. He's a hell of a wrestler. He's a hell of a striker. That's what he's really known for. I think he would make waves in heavyweight, but maybe he doesn't want to. That's another thing. I really don't know. I think he might be done for now. I think we would see him again. But it's interesting. It's an interesting development, seeing such a all-time great. Maybe not all-time great as far as champions, but
he's a Hall of Famer.
Definitely Hall of Famer with his resume.
Yeah.
Seeing him, go kind of, I don't want to see him right off yet. I think he has some fights left in him, but he lives in a beautiful country. He has a beautiful family. He likes to go hunting. He probably looked around. He said, if I lose this fight, I think I'm done. I'm just going to hang out with my family and do my thing. And I don't blame him for that. I think if you're a fighter and you see it that if you can't do it at the highest level, you shouldn't do it at all. Because if not, you're going to get hurt. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's the right thing to do.
Sure.
I don't know. I know that MMA is different compared to boxing in that way that fighters. I know fighters are willing to admit when they can't do it at a high level.
Yeah, because you got elbows and knees and freaking coming at you, bro. I mean,
well, I think it's also just the wear and tear on the body in MMA compared to boxing. I'm not saying, boxing is a hard sport.
Yeah.
But just, with the training alone, you've got, hours of grappling, hours of striking, hours of strength and conditioning. That's just in a single day. Plus sparring, the different kinds of sparring you do to get ready for a fight. I think, at 34, you're old, for sure. So, I want to see how these guys do for sure, man. I much respect to Alexander, the Muller, and Gustafsson. And, like they say in the workplace, we wish you luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah.
But that was it. I think for fight news.
That's pretty much it, man.
For fight news, Triple G, Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, that's about it. We got some other things to talk about.
NBA Finals, man.
Finals.
It's been
what
crazy.
The fuck?
It's been wacky.
Is it the fall of a dynasty?
Nah, not the fall of a dynasty. There's no way. This team has at least 3 years. So
the fall or the rising of a dynasty?
Nah. Maybe on the East. I don't know about. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal, bro. A dynasty, you have to win multiple back-to-back-to-back.
Well,
I don't think it's going to happen.
That's what Golden State did,
right? But I don't think it's going to happen with Toronto. But and the reason being, when we talk about KD's return, there is no return. They actually announced today that he's not going to be participating in tomorrow night's game.
Oh Lord!
They ruled him out.
He has to be furious, bro.
So it has to do with the Achilles, and everybody that knows about the Achilles injuries, it wasn't a tear, right? But it was a sprain. So the Achilles is a tendon, which means that there's no blood. There's not a lot of blood that goes in there, so it takes a lot longer to heal. I mean, for example, Cameron Wake 2 years ago with the Miami Dolphins, he tore his Achilles literally on the second game of the season, and he was out and came back the second game of the season the following year. So it's one of those deals where that part of the body is very sensitive, and it takes a lot to recover. I predict that he will not return at all in this series. I don't think he's coming back, bro.
No. Now, can they win with just Steph Curry?
No. He proved it last night. He scored 45 points. What else do you want from the best shooter in NBA history?
I mean, everybody, social media, First Take, ESPN, major news, they're saying that Steph Curry's feeling what LeBron James is feeling. Being the best player on the court and still finding yourself down in the series.
Well, that was last night because he's usually not the best player on the court. He's usually the best shooter on the court. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Durant, probably the second best shooter on the court.
definitely the best player on